Welcome everybody here. I am super excited to talk about specialized knowledge because sometimes I think this is maybe one of the chapters that people aren't as excited about in Think and Grow Rich because we like faith and imagination and auto-suggestion, but like specialized knowledge is like, well, that seems like hard work, but it doesn't have to be. So we're going to dive into it, and then what we'll do is we will, at the end, I actually want to give a bit of time for masterminding in terms of specialized knowledge that maybe you don't know what specialized knowledge you need or how to acquire it or where to get it, and then we can maybe help each other out a little bit and share some of our experience and knowledge, because that's one of the ways that we can gain and learn about or gain our specialized knowledge. First and foremost, knowledge will not attract money. And I feel like everybody here that's already in this would probably know that, but it has to be organized, because we know that there is a lot of very smart people who've gone to school and have got all the credentials and they're not making a lot of money and not super successful in their life in terms of, producing, creating things like this. So knowledge will not attract money unless it's organized and intelligently directed through practical plans of action to the definite end of accumulation of money. Knowledge is only potential power. Think about the individual who could read 10 books on nutrition and study it and go on Google and learn all this stuff, but they never get off their couch and they eat McDonald's every day. They have the knowledge, but it's not being directed into definite purpose or plan. That knowledge needs to be implemented. Knowledge is only potential power. It becomes power only when and if it is organized into definite plans of action and directed to a definite end. The accumulation of great fortunes calls for power, and power is acquired through highly organized and intelligently directed specialized knowledge. But that knowledge does not necessarily have to be in the possession of the man who accumulates the fortune. And this is the key. And the paragraph after this paragraph is like, this should give everybody hope, because it's not that you have to possess all the knowledge. You just have to have access to it. First and foremost, we want to talk about how to purchase knowledge. When you have something you want, there's a way to get to it. People have done it before. There's lessons, there's all kinds of ways in order for you to be able to do it as well. It's not like we're doing anything really magical here, but it's a matter of you actually being the person that's willing to do this. Because if you are someone who is like, I have this vision for my business, or I want to have a successful coaching business, for example, and you read about it and you even might take a course about it, but then you're resistant and hesitant to go and find the person to help you or to hire that individual to do a marketing page for you or whatever it is, then you stay stuck. If you think about people who are very successful in business, they have a team. They have staff, they have like consultants, they have all this kind of thing. So remember, if you have said, I want to do $1 million this year, or I want to do $20,000 a month, you got to think like the person that does that makes that amount of money. And that person is not doing it all on their own. They have people's work that they're working with and that they're calling upon in order for certain information. So what it needs to happen is you have to first you have to have your decision. So you guys all have your goal cards. You all have the goals and the things that you want to do. So that decision has been made. Then you're going to have to decide the sort of specialized knowledge that you require and the purpose for which it is needed. So think about, this is simply like a brainstorming method on your part. You would sit down and think like, okay, look at your goal. What kind of knowledge do I need in order to achieve that goal? And what's the purpose of that knowledge? You always want to check back on it. Am I doing this just because it's fancy and it looks shiny and exciting, or does this actually get me to where I want to go? And then you need to make sure you're getting your knowledge from a reliable source. And I will be the first to say I have done terrible at this. I've gotten knowledge that from not reliable sources. I've paid people who weren't good at what they did, because so I can be quite emotional and be like, oh, well, they're so nice, so let me hire them. Or like, oh yeah, they've been costing me money for 6 months, but they'll do better next month. So we have to be also, I hate using the word realistic. I don't like that word, but I can't think of a better word at the moment, where it's like, okay, this isn't actually, I shouldn't be learning how to invest in real estate from someone who doesn't own any real estate or only maybe has one property. You want to make sure you're being smart about who and where you're getting your knowledge. So some reliable sources are someone's experience in education. So this can come from yourself. Obviously, you can be getting knowledge from yourself. You can also be looking at the individual. Maybe they don't have a college degree, but what are their results showing and what's their experience that they have, their education? The mastermind. Experience and education available through cooperation of others. This is why it is so valuable to be in a mastermind, because you can get specialized knowledge either from the people in your mastermind or from their network of people. They might know someone that's going to help you get access to the knowledge and information that you need or the skills that you need. Colleges and universities, obviously, you can go to school and you can learn another skill and learn more information. You can go to libraries. I would say probably more modern day would be the internet of that. And then taking courses and doing your own training on specific things that you might want to learn yourself. Keep in mind, it's good to do an assessment as you begin, and I'm gonna give you guys homework on this to do this, but you wanna look at like, here's my goal, here's the steps I think from my current position and awareness that's going to take me towards my goal. What specialized knowledge or special skills do I need to get there? What of those do I already possess? What of those do I want to learn? And what of those do I want to get from somebody else, and either for free or to hire somebody else to do? This is a way to help you understand, like make a good decision about this. Think about the cost of your time versus what it costs to pay someone. So if you are, wanting to, as a coach, you're working as a coach and you're making $1 million a year, your hourly wage, like the cost of your time and what it costs, it could be like $1,000 an hour. So are you telling me you're going to go and learn how to build websites and like set up funnels when that's a service that costs maybe like $20 an hour? Like begin to think as the person that is making the income that you say you want to make. I grew up on a farm. We always did like everything ourselves, and it still can be sometimes like my default to do it on my own instead of being smart and being like, my time is worth this amount of money. Why am I doing these insignificant things? Sarah shared this the other day where she was like, it took her 2 hours to like figure out how to like make some kind of link for something, where she has an assistant that she pays like $3 an hour that she could have got her to figure it out. So like could have paid like $6 or even $3 versus her spending 2 hours, which would be like a couple $1,000s or more worth of money to her, because it was her, that's how valuable her time is. So when you're making these decisions about the specialized knowledge, choose wisely what you're going to invest your time into in order to learn. Make sure there's a really good return on that investment, and that it makes sense that you're spending your time on that. It's important that we also know how to access other people's knowledge. Masterminds, I want to reiterate this, especially for those of you, this is a prime time to be going over this, because some of you are going to be meeting me at an event in San Francisco tomorrow, and we are going to be surrounded by people who are CEOs, multimillionaires, owning their own companies, entrepreneurs, all kinds of walks of life. And you need to meet these people. You need to make the connection. This is how you access knowledge. It's networking. Be a master networker, and this is what you do this in all different ways. And so it's worth spending money for things like country clubs, for things like masterminds, for things like, clubs and these different things that you can be a part in, because anybody can go to the bar for $5 to buy a drink for $5 and get even in there for free. So you're going to meet all walks of life, but for something that has a higher cost of entry, then you're going to have a different caliber of people. So you're getting into this is why universities like Yale and Harvard and everything, they cost so much. Not so much because the education is miles above another university, but it's because of the kind of people that are going to be there and who you're going to meet, who you're going to be connected with, and how those connections are going to serve you for the rest of your life. You're in the dorm of some politician's son, his thing, and then there's that connection. And then now when you want to go and buy this property in the city, you've got this connection, you're able to do it. So getting into these things, getting onto boards and committees and stuff like that is another way to network with people. Get into BNI, right? BNI, business networking, and like in these kinds of things where you're able to collect people. And then now you have, now all the knowledge and experience they have, you have it without having to have gone and done everything that they've done and paid all the money that they've paid. And even think about this. So you invested some of you did the Bob Proctor coaching year. I did the Bob Proctor coaching year. It's like $7,000 in order to do that year. From paying some money, I took a course, but it gave me access to a community. So the value wasn't just in the information of the course, it was actually in the connecting with all the people that care about that information, that are entrepreneurial. A lot of my clients came from that coaching year, like Bob Proctor's thing, and continually networking and meeting and learning from all those individuals is a way to then have that specialized knowledge at your fingertips. I can just put out a message on the Facebook group and be like, anybody know about how to, get incorporated in Dallas? And then, somebody can message on there and they've done it, and then I'm like, boom, I've got my information so quickly. So this is how, remember the acorn and the oak tree when Bob Proctor talks about that? And our idea, the thing that we've decided that we want is the acorn. We planted that acorn. Acorn isn't going out and making all this stuff happen. It's attracting to itself the things it needs to grow into an oak tree. But it's important that you're open to everything the universe is going to bring your way, because you will, now that you made your decision what you want, don't block receiving it. And the way that we're receiving it is being open to people coming into our life and experiences and opportunities. And some of them are going to cost money. Don't be afraid of that. Money comes and goes and it's all over the place and it's energy. Don't give it any attention of being like a hindrance to you. So be willing, just like many of you have joined LTL, like you were willing to make that investment because it's going to make returns to you beyond this lifetime. So this is super important. Even if it pushes you a little bit out of your comfort zone, that's okay. But make sure you're networking with people wherever you go. Look for that common denominator. You never know who you're going to meet. And I do call it collecting people, and do it with the intention also that you will help those people. You're not just wanting to get from them, but what connections do you have that will help that individual get to where they want to go? It's not just about getting, but it's about helping each other. And it's very rewarding to be able to help someone. I love networking. I like connecting people and being like, hey, you're doing this thing. I know this guy that's also into that, and I'll connect them. And then they end up doing awesome things together. So go in with that giving energy as well. I told you this was going to be a fast one. So homework for you guys is get out your goal card. And if you guys want to take a picture of this screen so that you can remember it, but the recording will be up within the next day or so, get out your goal card and write out the specialized knowledge you need to achieve your goal. And then once I get through this, I'm going to actually give you some examples. I'll use me as an example, and then that'll maybe help the juices flowing. Then you're going to need to circle any area that you already possess the knowledge for. Be like, okay, I know how to do this. I have experience in this. Okay, so that's taken care of. I have that. Then you're going to decide which of the remaining knowledge or skills you intend to acquire yourself. So do you need to take a course on it? Do you need to go to school for it? What do you need to do? And you go research it online. Which of it are you taking on yourself to grow your specialized skill? Because you want to be really good at something. You do want to master something. That is a good important thing to have. And then which of those things are you going to intend to hire somebody else for? Where are you going to those tasks that you need in order to get your goal manifested? What of that can be farmed out to other people and things like that. Then once you find out, okay, this is what I want to learn myself and get better in myself, and this is what I want to get help from other people, then you're going to see, where do I find these people? Where do I find this information? What courses or workshops or seminars or coaches do I need to work with myself in order to learn this? I want to give the example. Seek out the people you intend to pay for their services. You got to find those people once you make the decision what things you need to hire people for. But this was I put Johnny's sales call or whatever that he did, and he tells a little bit of a story in there. He has a window cleaning business, and he had started it however many years ago, can't remember. When he started it, he was doing it all himself. He had taken a bit of a course about starting a window cleaning business. He was doing it all himself, but he wanted to automate it. For 9 years, he had been trying to automate it and didn't have any success with it, and was just ultimately him having to do it and work it all on his own. Finally, after 9 years, he decided to, I don't know if it was hire a coach or take a course or whatever on how to automate his business. And within a matter of a year, he had it automated. So would you say that it was worth him? Imagine if he would have paid for that or hired that person 9 years ago. It would have saved him 9 years of time and energy and trying to figure it out on his own and da-da-da-da-da. So if you're hesitant to be like, I don't want to spend the money to hire the coach. I don't want to spend the person to make my website or whatever. Websites are not really that necessary. I don't want to hire the person to do lead generation for me. How many years is it going to take you to master it? And do you really want to do that? Or does it make more sense for you to pay someone for their knowledge, for their skill, and for their experience? Because it can shave years off of your progress. So choose wisely. So now the question is, what are some examples of this and what that might look like? Because a lot of you in here are in coaching, mentorship, in this kind of realm where you're overseeing other people, things like that. So for me specifically, if I am in that business as well. So if you're feeling like, I don't even know what it takes to be successful in, for example, living the legacy, what specialized knowledge do you actually need? And you guys can chime in as if you feel like you have other input into this as well. But from my experience over the past 5 years of hiring people and stuff not working and blah, 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 what I have found that is really necessary in order to hit those $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a month is you are not going to be able to do everything on your own. So first and foremost, just accept that. It's not going to happen all by yourself. You do need a team of people. One of the best things I did was hire an assistant, Alvier, so that I could farm off a lot of the tasks that could be super time consuming for me because I'm trying to figure it out. As an example, how to connect Zoom to iCal, or not iCal, Google Cal. I could spend hours on the internet trying to figure it out, or I can be like, Alvier, can you please figure that out for me? And he'll go and figure it out and then tell me how to do it. So having an assistant is one of the things, a virtual assistant that you hire from like the Philippines, or usually the Philippines is the place to do it, in order to get a bunch of your time back in order to put on to higher revenue action taking. I would say if you're at the beginning stages of your business, getting someone for lead generation. I am able to generate leads on my own now, but I have been building my social media for about 5 years. So it's like you can do it, it just takes time. So then if you have to consider your time, what it's worth versus the time it's going to take you to learn to do your social media and your lead gen stuff, is it worth it to you? And for some people, it totally is. Like having the skill to do lead gen is super valuable, but does it align with you? Is it what you're passionate about? And if it's going to take you 3 years to get good at it, maybe there's other things to be putting your time into. And then I have Alvier, my assistant. I have lead gen as a mixture on my own, but I've done it. It's taken me 5 years, and I'm paying for leads as well. I'm paying Brandon to do lead gen for me because he's an expert at it. He knows all kinds of crazy things that I have. Like, I'm totally clueless. I can kind of hobble through it, but he's a master. So why not pay him as long as there's a return on that investment? If it's costing me this amount of money, but it's making me this amount of money, then I'll keep paying that because that makes sense. So don't be afraid to pay money, but as long as there's a return on that investment. So I would rather use Brandon's knowledge for lead gen in order to help me, because any business needs people coming into it. So your marketing and your lead gen stuff is super important no matter what business you're in. I don't care if you got a nail salon or a restaurant or, a tutoring company or a coaching business, you need people buying your service. You need people seeing you. So marketing is a part of that. And that whole piece, you can have somebody else take care of that for you. And then I have, from the kind of business I'm in, I hire someone to do my social media, because I will this is how it works. So Melissa Kruper does my Instagram, and then we will sit down once a month for an hour, and she'll have me talk for an hour on Zoom, and she'll be like, what are we posting about this month? And then she'll take all the notes and everything, and then she writes everything for me. She designs all the posts. If I had to do that, not only is it going to take me hours and hours of time, it's also going to be like a stress on my mind, and it's going to drain my energy, and it's going to be like weighing on me, and I'll be like pressurized and stuff like that. So for me to be able to like pay her to do that, it's a no-brainer for me. With those 3 people, specialized knowledge, that will take you super far in your businesses. So, and then because you know me, you're able to be like, okay, Megan, who do you recommend? Who's someone, like I would say, hire Melissa, use Brandon for lead gen. And maybe Alvier knows somebody else that wants to like be an assistant. There is also specialized knowledge in how to hire a really good VA, because it's not just like, oh, you just go and just hire one. Like there's an interview process. Instead of thinking about hiring people and buying knowledge as losing money, because that's backwards thinking, think about it as investing for returns. Because if you are going to like someone who's got a massive company, for example, if they would go and be like, oh, it's going to cost me $10,000 to hire this person to come in and do a sales plan for my team, but it's going to take me 6 months to study and learn and figure out how to do it on my own. Of course they're going to pay the $10,000, because now they can move on to the next thing, and now they can grow their income and they can buy more, and it goes faster. This is how we speed up without us working more or harder, is we tune into we utilize people, we utilize their stuff, and now we're able to like way faster by getting into their worlds and utilizing their minds and their energy. So that would be some like examples of like saving yourself a lot of time. Because some of you are at the beginning where you don't really have much of a social media presence. Realistically, it would take you probably 5-ish years to get a strong social media presence. So, you could just skip that by paying somebody to do lead gen for you. Unless having a strong social media presence is a goal of yours and you want to do it because you love it and you're excited to share content and you want to provide value that way. I want to open it up and let you guys ask questions and think, okay, here's my goal. What do I need to get there? Another example for me is a tax tax accountant, tax lawyer. That would be another thing that's really important, especially once you're making over $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year in your business. It's good for you to set that up and get yourself organized financially. The universe is going to be like, if your finances are chaos, you know, the universe isn't going to pour more into that chaos. The universe is about order. So set yourself up for receiving, get yourself in order, get yourself ready for expansion. It's not like you're gonna have all of a sudden it's just like $1 billion is gonna be here and you're like still like, I don't know, juggling all these credit cards and not writing down or tracking your expenses and all that kind of stuff. That would be the finances of that level of income would have to be orderly. So you want to be orderly in order to like be ready for the money to come in and to flow into the different areas that it needs to be. So having someone to help you with your taxes and stuff. So I've hired a guy and he was even explaining to me, he's like, this is what we do. We set up your LLC and then we're gonna like, you take out life insurance and then when you buy a home, you're gonna actually utilize the money from your life insurance in order to mortgage your home. And like we do all these things and you pay into this for 6 years and then that's gonna give you a $50,000 a month income once you retire. And he knows all this stuff that I don't have to know. I don't have to know it. I don't have to figure it out. I don't have to go and research all this stuff about tax laws. I can just be like, hey, give a little email, be like, help me figure this thing out. Here's my money, here's my expenses, and he takes care of all of it for me. And I don't have to do all that. So be smart, really smart with what you're spending your time on and who you're giving your money to in order to help you get to where you want to go. So keep in touch. I'll be on my stories on Instagram. I'll be on Facebook sharing the event and our experiences there. You can be involved that way. Stay connected. It's going to be super exciting. We're going to have a lot of new developments happening. So I'm really, really excited for it. But make sure you guys do your homework on what specialized knowledge do you need and who are you going to hire, what are you going to pay, and what are you going to learn yourself. Get clarity on that so that you can start taking action.
I hope you really enjoyed that video and were able to take away some nuggets that are helping you on your journey. I am deeply committed to my mission to raise the vibration of the world one person at a time. Of course, that starts with me and my own journey and then extends through the teaching and energy and healing work that I do on a day-to-day basis. I see really two angles to come at this journey of evolution for us to raise our vibration so that we can experience abundance and freedom and joy, those loving relationships, those healthy bodies, all those things that you're searching for. It actually is a journey that happens from within. And on the one angle, we come at this from understanding, gaining wisdom, beginning to discover ourselves and who we really are. How does the cosmos work? What is the soul's journey? This is why I teach on YouTube and give videos on my social media in order to gain understanding and wisdom and awareness so that we can logically move ourselves forward. The other angle to come at this is through inner work, through healing, through what has been coined as shadow work. This is why I do energy work and I use things like the emotions code, like bioresonance, do subconscious reprogramming, brain entrainment, all these beautiful and wonderful things in order to do work inwardly to shift our vibration. When I say shift our vibration, you naturally, at spirit soul level, vibrate at a very high level with perfect abundance and freedom and joy and all those things. But what happens though through life experiences, we tend to hold on to things like limiting beliefs, traumas, fears, doubts, anxiety, stress, all this kind of stuff that's not you. So our journey of raising our vibration is actually a journey of letting go of that which is not us. And so that is the other angle that I utilize in order to help people raise their vibration into these places that feel really, really good. What happens over YouTube though, or over these videos, is that there can be a disconnect. You can't necessarily talk to me or ask your questions. And so you sometimes feel like you're alone. So I'm really excited to announce that I have a membership where we can meet once a week and you're able to ask me questions as well as work with other people that are like-minded and on this journey together of raising our vibration, of manifesting lives that are beautiful and wonderful, that we're so happy and excited to be alive, living our passions and doing the things that bring us a lot of joy. On those calls, I will actually work with you individually as well. For people who are wanting help, I can release negative trapped emotions right there in person. For those who would like that done, I can use my bioresonance technology in order to read your frequency right then and there and actually send you frequency that will help bring more balance for you as well. And you can also, again, ask your questions, and I share even more tips and tricks than I have available currently on YouTube on how to heal the shadow on the day-to-day when you're on your own and I'm not there with you. What are these things and practices that you can do that ultimately raise your vibration? As we shift and release that which is not us, all the money and the relationships and the love and the health, it just is a byproduct of that. It's a symbol of the shift that's happening within yourself. So if this membership is something that sounds exciting to you, you want to connect with other like-minded people, you want to connect with me and grow in community together, there is a link in the description where you're able to get more information on that and sign up, and I would love to see you there.